Welcome. Today is Sunday, December the 2nd, 2018. Police in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania say they're looking for a disgruntled customer who got creative with the way she torched items at a convenience store. The woman is seen in surveillance video using a hairspray bottle and a lighter to make a blowtorch. She then reached through an opening of the store's front counter and burned several items. No one was injured. Police say they will charge her with arson when they find her. Her exact motive isn't clear, but for now, police are just referring to her as a disgruntled customer. For the first time, dozens of small satellites will ride atop a SpaceX rocket as a Falcon 9 is scheduled to blast into orbit Sunday. The 64 satellites range from one built by a Florida middle school to measure the visibility of thawed bacteria to a Honeywell Aerospace demonstrator that will test new ship communication technology. All 34 organizations found their way onto the Falcon 9 rocket with the help of a launch service broker. At the same time, these launch service providers are looking for help to coordinate the deluge of developers looking to send small satellites into space. Over 40 cases of unopened, bonded whiskey were contained in banker Jean-Baptiste Leonis's house for almost a century. The whiskey bottles were discovered upon the death of Leonis's grandson in 2017, stored in a mercantile inventory manner in a secret vault behind a bookcase. The collection includes multiple cases of pint bottles of Hermitage whiskey distilled in 1914 and Old Crow distilled in 1912. Christie's auction house explains, pre-prohibition is arguably the area of the market that carries the highest level of interest for collectors. Seeing the rise of prohibition, Jean-Baptiste built hidden prohibition vault rooms into his two new residential properties. The prohibition vault rooms were each constructed behind bookcases which opened to reveal a bank vault door and combination lock. Jean-Baptiste could easily get the doors, as a banker, and sneak them into the final construction. Most of the Hermitage whiskey lots are expected to go for between $7,000 to $9,500. On November 30th, a filament of magnetism in the sun's southern hemisphere erupted, hurling a CME into space. NOAA analysts say the expanding cloud has an Earth-directed component. The slow-moving CME could deliver a glancing blow to our planet's magnetic field on December the 5th, possibly sparking polar geomagnetic storms. Japan's public broadcaster NHK and several other TV stations began airing 4K and 8K ultra-high-definition programs on satellite channels Saturday. The Japanese government has been pushing the 4K and 8K services in time for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Some 4K-ready TVs are not capable of receiving 4K signals by themselves, and owners need to purchase a receiver. To watch 8K and some of the 4K broadcasts, viewers also need a dedicated satellite dish. 8K resolution has 16 times as many pixels as a full high-definition image, but only a handful of manufacturers currently sell 8K TVs, and they are expensive. Moving on to birthdays for today, December the 2nd. Lucy Liu turns 50 today. Lucy is an American actress, voice actress, director, and artist who became known for playing the role of the vicious and ill-mannered Ling Wu in the television series Ally McBeal. Britney Spears is 37. Britney is an American singer, songwriter, dancer, and actress. Spears' first two studio albums, Baby One More Time, 1999, and Oops, I Did It Again, 2000, were global successes and made her the best-selling teenage artist of all time. Referred to as the Princess of Pop, Spears was credited with influencing the revival of teen pop during the late 1990s and early 2000s. Kathy Lee Crosby turns 74. Kathy is an American actress and former professional tennis player. She achieved TV and film success in the 1980s and was a co-host of the television series That's Incredible from 1980 to 1984, which remains in worldwide syndication. Scientists have invented a new clock that keeps time more precisely than any that have come before. The clock is so accurate that it won't gain or lose more than 1 second in 14 billion years. This new clock is so exact that it could be used to detect dark matter, measure the gravitational waves that ripple across the universe, and determine the exact shape of Earth's gravitational field with unprecedented precision. Physicist Andrew Ludlow of the National Institute of Standards and Technology in Boulder, Colorado, led the work that produced the new clock. The elliptical lattice clock Ludlow and his colleagues developed measures the much faster oscillations of the ytterbium atom. Its atomic pendulum swings about 10,000 times faster at a speed of 500 trillion times per second. Optical lattice clocks have been around for only 15 years, and they are still in the development stage. Most of the improvements in the latest iteration are due to a new heat shield that Ludlow's group developed a few years ago. It protects the ytterbium atoms from the effects of heat and electric fields, which can interfere with their natural oscillations. 2 people are behind bars after allegedly running an illegal dental practice out of a bus in Miami. According to Miami-Dade police officials, Daniela Gonzalez and Victor Bernal were arrested earlier this month for practicing health care without a license. Bernal was also charged with possession of drugs with intent to sell. During an undercover investigation, officials scheduled an appointment with Bernal for a dental procedure. They arrived at the bus, which was parked in a parking lot at the 6000 block of Northwest 74th Avenue. Gonzalez diagnosed, evaluated, and offered to treat the officer. That's when police moved in and arrested the 2. While police were searching the bus, they found a bag containing various prescription drugs and other dental products. A British court sentenced a Japan Airlines co-pilot, Katsutoshi Jitsukawa, to 10 months in prison on Thursday for exceeding the legal alcohol limit by around 10 times. Jitsukawa pleaded guilty on November 1st to being over the alcohol limit after admitting to drinking 2 bottles of wine and more than 1.8 liters of beer over 6 hours from the night before he was due to fly from London to Tokyo. He cheated a pre-flight alcohol test administered at the airline's office and briefly boarded the plane. Japan Airlines, JAL, announced the dismissal of the 42-year-old co-pilot as well as pay cuts for top executives. A number of incidents involving drinking by airline pilots have come to light recently in Japan, prompting the Japanese government to consider implementing tighter alcohol consumption rules for crew. Under the current Japanese system, flight crew members are prohibited from drinking within 8 hours of starting work, but there is no law or regulation setting a legal alcohol limit. The salary of JAL President Yuji Akasaka will be cut by 20% for 3 months from December. Akasaka voluntarily returned 20% of his salary in November. The Asian longhorned tick, an unwelcome 8-legged visitor from the east, is a tick indigenous to Asia, where it's a known vector for hemorrhagic fever in humans. The tick species has already turned up in Arkansas, Connecticut, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia, where it's been found on domestic animals and wildlife, and at least 2 people, the U.S. CDC has reported. The Asian longhorned tick is considered a new and emerging disease threat. It first emerged in China, but has since been spotted in South Korea and Japan. As described by researchers, symptoms include fever, vomiting, diarrhea, and anemia. In some cases, multiple organ failure can result, and 12% of cases prove fatal. Keystone RV Company is recalling 98 model year 2019 Keystone Montana recreational trailers with a legacy package. The fasteners that secure the disc brake assembly may fail. If the fasteners fail, the trailer would lose all braking ability, increasing the risk of a crash. Keystone will notify owners, and dealers will replace the brake disc mounting fasteners free of charge. Keystone's number for this recall is 18-336. Owners may contact Keystone Customer Service with questions concerning this recall. A retired Massachusetts State Police trooper has pleaded guilty to collecting more than $29,000 in overtime pay he did not earn. Federal prosecutors say 50-year-old Paul Season of Southwick pleaded guilty to embezzlement from an agency receiving federal funds. He faces 10 to 16 months in prison. Season was assigned to the now disbanded Troop E, responsible for patrolling the Massachusetts Turnpike. Prosecutors say he was one of several troopers paid for overtime shifts they either didn't work or didn't complete. Season concealed his fraud by submitting fake citations designed to create the appearance he had worked overtime hours that he had not. Season is the fourth trooper or former trooper to plead guilty in the case. Charges against 3 others are pending.